It's time for Quotations. Today's quotation comes from Mark Mothersbaugh. Mothersbaugh is the co-founder, frontman, and half of the artistic force behind the band Devo. In his long, storied career, he has also provided music for Pee-wee's Playhouse, Rugrats, and several of Wes Anderson's best films. But it is his bizarre, challenging, groundbreaking work with Devo that makes him perhaps even more relevant today than when the band began in 1970. It's easy to think of Devo as the funny guys who sang Whip It in those flower pot hats, but that is to miss nearly the entire story. Watch this early performance of the band on the show Fridays. These are aliens from outer space, come from afar to destroy. Devo was and remains an artistic weapon wielded against all the corrupt, money-grubbing, violent, thoughtless, wasteful bullshit of life in our time. In fact, Mothersbaugh became famous for planting subliminal messages in commercial work, like the song he wrote for Hawaiian Punch in 1987, in which he buried a track of himself saying, "Sugar is bad for you." In a way, Devo had no choice but to be an agitprop band. Consider the world in which they formed. Mothersbaugh and Devo co-founder Jerry Casale were students at Kent State in 1970 when Richard Nixon sent the National Guard to quell student protests against the Vietnam War.
When you do have a situation of a crowd throwing rocks, and the National Guard is called in, that there is always the chance that it will escalate into the kind of a tragedy that happened in Kent State.
Please listen to me.
By the end of one fateful day in May, 4 students lay dead at the hands of their own government, and the American dream, or what was left of it, lay with them in a pool of blood. As Mothersbaugh told me in 2010, in a lot of ways the shooting was a major component for creating Devo. Our school closed down in May, so we didn't get to finish out the spring semester. All summer it was closed, and you couldn't really go on campus. Jerry and I had met in the art department. I was more into experimental music, John Cage and Wendy Carlos and things like that, and he was more into the blues. So between May and September, Jerry was coming over to my place and we were trying to figure out what was going on and what we were living through and what we were seeing going on in the world. We decided that we were observing de-evolution rather than evolution. That was the idea that started it all. De-evolution, devolution, Devo.